Vinny has already disappointed me once. Let's see if he does it again. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer. Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Okay, I noticed that Vinny Politan did another investigation into the Idaho student murders, and he's calling it the Idaho Student Murders Podcast. So I guess this is just like the YouTube version. I did a review of a video that he did, I don't know, like a week or two ago, and I just wasn't impressed at all by the lack of give a damn of the actual timeline. So I'm curious as to what he's going to say now. I'm not going to do the entire video like I did last time. That just was way too long. I'm only going to give you the snippets that I see. I have no hope already for this video because I went down into the comments. Now, it's 18 hours old. It only has 16 comments on it, and it only has 3,500 views. I find that really, really strange for an Idaho video from Court TV to not have at least 35,000 views in 18 hours. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get this started because I started listening. And even though this is just really Vinny giving like a synopsis of the crime before he gets started, right? I instantly hear incorrect things now that we know the truth. Because he says this.
Investigators from the Moscow police joined forces with the Idaho State Police and the FBI, following every lead, every tip, and every piece of evidence.
And this.
How were investigators able to track him?
But the reality is that investigators doing any real investigating is not what brought them to Bryan Kohberger. They were doing investigating and surveilling of everyone but Bryan. It wasn't until, apparently, the story goes, the FBI handed the police agency a very specific and small family tree for them to then basically work from to get their suspect, aka Bryan Kohberger. No actual investigations, no actual real investigative footwork from real true investigators actually got them to Pennsylvania. It was the feds handing them a here you go. So that was number one. When he said this.
Which brings me to my question that I want to investigate tonight, which is very, very simply, what does that crime scene look like now?
I was like, what do you mean? What does it look like now? It's a field. It's gone. The crime scene was demolished. Where have you been? Weird way to put it, because we all know what happened there. Okay, maybe now I understand why it doesn't have a lot of views. So there's no actual pictures. Like he's saying, take a look at this and look at this and this is what it looks like now. And he's actually got that Cody guy on scene and he's describing stuff and saying, oh, my face isn't in frame. Like there's visuals of this somewhere, but not here. I'm not going to go looking for it. So I'm just going to keep listening to this and see why people are mad in the comments. This is so bad. So this guy is literally, according to what we're not seeing here, walking around an empty field where the King Roadhouse used to be and describing from where he's walking around on this now flat, empty piece of grass, okay, where the windows were, where Bryan could have been, and if he was standing here, what could he have been seeing?
At one point in time when the house was here, outside of these trees, it did provide a pretty clear look into the side windows of some of those bedrooms of the house, and even a peek into the kitchen on the second floor where the crimes allegedly happened. Up here is the back parking lot to those apartments, and as I pan to the left, you can see that it also leads right to where the back of the King Road house where the victims lived at the time. Now, of course, the leaves are a little grown up now, but in November when it was a little cold, the leaves were off the trees, provided a clear view right into the back windows of some of those bedrooms and a super clear view of the kitchen, those glass sliding doors leading to the second floor that could have provided access inside the house. Remember that police reported there was no signs of forced entry into the home once they arrived. And they also believe that this back lot could have been where the alleged suspect, Bryan Kohberger, parked his car and scoped out the scene that night of November 12th into November 13th when the crimes happened.
Like he's literally like what, going off of memory? Or is he actually sitting like in his bedroom somewhere going off of some sort of like video from the past? Because I can't see a thing. And he's describing stuff and saying, look here, see here, as you can see here, look how far this wall is from this barrier, blah, blah, blah. What is happening? This is the strangest thing I think I've heard in a while. And I'm just like, I don't understand why you uploaded this to YouTube without the visuals. Like, if you were going to upload the vocals of your podcast while also saying, look at this, oh, look at this frame, look at this over here, why would you not at least put the video clips in? Like, edit it in. Court TV has like probably hundreds of editors at their disposal. Why couldn't they have made this make more sense? This is the strangest thing that I've heard in quite a minute. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and record me reacting to this segment of this because they're talking about how was he tracked from his apartment, and they're talking about cell phone pings. Now, I just left a comment on this video just from the introduction to this next segment that they gave. What do they call that? A segue? I put on here, it is really obvious that you guys just do not listen to the court hearings because they're going off about cell phone pings and paths on the PCA, from what I can tell is what they're about to talk about, that we've already been told in court by basically people on both sides are irrelevant, guesswork, nothing validated, and that anything for the crime specific is the data's not there. So this is just going to be annoying, which is why I wanted to just record at least this part. I don't want to give this too much airtime, actually, like, because it's just crap. This is just crap. Okay, here we go. Jeez.
One thing about the Idaho student killer, the accused killer, spent a lot of time driving around that area by himself in his car. In fact, I want you to take a look at this. He was stopped by police. This is before.
Take a look at what? Because as you can see, there's nothing I can take a look at. I wasn't exaggerating. This is literally it. So why do they call this a podcast? But they're saying, look at this, look at this, look at this. Annoying.
Beforehand, for doing some improper driving. Take a listen.
Yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing.
Okay, so they're trying to talk about the night of the murders, but they're playing audio from him getting pulled over in Pullman. Are they for real right now?
And then they put on their light turn. Mm-hmm. So I thought that maybe they were letting me go through.
Oh.
Did you see that?
No.
I feel like right before I made the turn, there was someone who made a right. They didn't have their...
Are they like losing things about this case to talk about? Curious, because this is stupid.
Their signal on, so I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would just advise just don't enter the intersection until you can go so you don't get stuck.
So
what? That was in Pullman, not Moscow. Vinny. Remember, this is the one where she gives dispatch his vehicle information and it comes back as a completely different vehicle. We've gone over that several times.
Him driving around by himself. And that is the theory that investigators and prosecutors have here, which brings me to the next question.
Him driving around by himself. I'm sorry, you have one video of him getting pulled over right by where he's actually living. And he's apparently a single man who lives in his college apartment all by his little lonesome. And the fact that he drives around by himself is a red flag issue? What? What?
That I want to take a look at, which is how was Bryan Kohberger, the accused killer, tracked from his apartment? How did that go?
What in the world did the last few minutes have anything to do with what he's trying to talk about? Confused.
TV producer Cody Thomas is still with us, and also joining us now, private investigator with over 20 years of experience, criminologist and profiler Jason Jensen. Cody, let me go to you first. You are there, and you were taking a ride, and you noticed some things. What did you find out today?
Well, Vinny, to directly answer that question about how it was tracked, we know it was a combination between those cell phone pings on the surrounding towers and surveillance footage of that white Elantra going to and from his apartment to the crime scene. But I took that drive from...
You mean the ones that, again, are not location specific? Time specific? The ones that we were told in court by the people that actually did the work themselves, that are like completely incompetent, those people, they are the ones that came out and told us, yeah, but the weather cams are all like daylight. And what was it that Cyree said? You know, the opposite side, the defense side. The defense side is matching the incompetence that the state is showing us by telling us that all of the very time-specific information for the crime itself is not there. All of the information needed to literally implicate anyone is missing. Therefore, that's why Cyree is now working for the defense for the first time in his entire over 20-year career, because what he sees is completely exculpatory. And he believes in it so much at this point that he's doing this for free. Vinny must be missing like a hell of a lot.
Cell phone pings on the surrounding towers and surveillance footage of that white Elantra going to and from his apartment to the crime scene. But I took that drive from his apartment in Pullman here to the crime scene in Moscow, Idaho.
Like,
here's a look at what
every YouTuber that has a car and lives in the area, and then people that aren't YouTubers also did too.
that would have looked like. So right now, I'm on the Washington State University campus. More specifically, I'm at the complex where Bryan Kohberger lived, right here behind me, during the time of the Idaho student murders. Now, this is the location from where he drove to the King Road house in Moscow, Idaho, just a few minutes across the Idaho state line. I have the...
You know what? This just isn't even worth it. This is not even worth it. I'm just not going to finish listening. I know for a fact that these mainstream people are not doing real research into this case. It's becoming so beyond obvious with the things that they constantly say that they aren't listening to court hearings. They aren't paying attention to what's actually being said by the witnesses that are expert witnesses, by the people that actually investigated the case that are now being asked questions in open cross-examinations. They're not reading court documents. It is becoming forever clear that they are getting a script and going off of it and not double checking what they're about to say. And I just honestly am so tired of it. Like, I know that coming out here and like debunking all of the bad and all of the false information that mainstream puts out here is a big thing that I do. I'm not going to stop doing that. I'm really not going to stop doing that. But I'm not going to do it for every little thing that I see, because these idiots are not worth the view. They're not worth us getting upset over whenever we as a community here with brains know better. Everything that's in that entire podcast is boo-boo. And I'm just not going to lose any more brain cells today. I'm just not. So this is a PSA. This turned from a review reaction into a public service announcement. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. Because if you're out here listening to what they have to say in the actual courtroom, if you're out here actually reading or listening to someone reading you and discussing with you the court documents, there's nothing these mainstream people are going to say that's going to give you anything that adds value to your knowledge of this case. Just don't do it. But that's it, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and go listen to something that gives me some of those brain cells back, because I know I lost a few listening to that poop. But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. And don't forget to hit that notification bell to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.